and welcome to the Backyard Show. This week, James and I sit down with Marcellina to discuss her upcoming outdoor show, her backing band The Monarchs, and her YouTube covers. You can listen to Marcellina wherever you stream music. And now, let's get into the show. Yeah, let's start with what's your background with songwriting? Like when did you first start writing songs?
Well, like I wrote a lot of poetry as a teenager, but intentionally writing songs, I didn't start till I was like 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because when I was younger, like I've always been into music and I've always played instruments, but I always learned covers. Like that's what I did. Like I'd go through my whole entire iPod and learn everything on piano. And that's like how I like trained myself. And that's how I learned to like be a better musician, just like by learning like everything by ear.
Awesome.
But then, yeah, I started writing when I was 18. Like I wrote my first song when I was 18.
So then since you have a background like with poetry, writing songs, do you write out the lyrics first, or is it with like you and a guitar writing out the lyrics? Or
it's kind of like half and half. I feel like a lot of the time it is from just like a poem or like lyrics, and then it's like I have all these ideas like of chord progressions in my phone or like in my Logic, like, and then I have all these ideas in my notebook of lyrics, and then all of a sudden it like comes together and I get to like match one to the other, like a little, what do you call, like not crossword puzzle, but like matching them to each other.
So what pushed you to write your own songs? Because you were doing covers and stuff and writing poetry.
I don't know. I started playing guitar when I was 15, and like my friend brought me to open mics like when I was 18. He said like you should really start going. And the more I played live to people, the more I like went home at night and just like channeled like a bunch of chord progressions. I'm like, what am I gonna do with these? And like I was like, wait, like I have all this poetry, and like it just kind of all came together like summer 2016. Like I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna like start writing songs. It wasn't ever like, oh, like I'm gonna pursue music and do all this stuff. Like I just started writing songs just to write songs, and then I started performing them, and then I noticed that like people liked them, and then I got in a band with my friends, and yeah, so I guess like performing covers live is what helped me like decide that I want to write songs, I guess.
Was there like a specific band or an artist that inspired you to write songs, or is there a band that you always go back to that you like, or that influences your songwriting?
Like
I wouldn't say there's like a specific. Wait, what was that? Sorry.
Like who were you covering the most when you were covering songs, like artist wise?
Oh, like everything in my iPod. I wish I had it right now, but like I literally like learned rap songs on piano and like all this other stuff. It's kind of hard to like remember, but I cover just any song that I love. Anyone that's not too hard.
Yeah. So you're like spitting bars while you're at the piano?
Yeah. I tried to.
What
but
rap
I
songs
did
were you
like
doing?
singing more. Well, I remember one specifically. It was, what's it called, LSD by A$AP Rocky. I used to listen to the Underachievers a lot. They're like a psychedelic rap duo, and then like Flatbush Zombies. Like I just learned their stuff a lot. And
That's cool.
I was like super into like the psychedelics when I was a teenager. What was the question though? You guys were like, what? Oh, I don't think I have a specific band that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to write like them. But you know, you're always, especially as a musician, you're always like finding new music, and like I feel like every new artist that I find that I really fuck with, like I end up kind of like wanting to like take something away from that, you know, and like put it into my own writing. So it's always ever changing, like depending on what I'm listening to a lot.
I'm the
But
same way
yeah,
as I'm the same way. Like when I hear, when I really get into a new song that I hear, I'll like take elements of that and make my own thing. Is there a specific example of a song that you have that you did that with?
yeah. Let me think. There's this one song by Julius. It's a guy named Julius. He's a solo artist. And it's called Lilac. And like, I found that song like 2 years ago, and I really, really loved it. And then I wrote this song, and it's out and everything. It's called Eternal. And like, just the way that he produced that song, like, I was like, okay, I want to produce a song that like gives me that same feeling. And like, I made a song, and it gave me that same feeling. So I was like, cool, like, awesome, you know. So yeah, that definitely has happened a couple of times. There's probably a few other songs, but I can't really think of them like right off the bat. But that was the first one I thought of.
How often are you writing songs nowadays?
Um, for a while, I was a little stagnant, just because of like things going on in my personal life. Like in 2020, I wasn't writing a lot. But now, like ever since like December, I've been like writing a lot again. Typically, like when I go through something really, really tough and like emotionally draining and stuff, like it takes me a second to like sit with those feelings for maybe a couple weeks. And then like once I'm like coming out of it and like really seeing with a clear vision, I like tap back into like how I was feeling a month ago or whatever, like the pain I was going through, and like I describe it. So a lot of my songs come from pain. And I went through something really, really, really tough, like right when the new year started. And now I'm like writing so much about it, and I'm stoked. Like it's probably gonna be another album someday.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So then that's not like daily or how? Like,
Oh yeah.
weekly?
I didn't answer the question.
No, you did.
It on average like a couple days a week I'll write something new on average.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes it's like 5 days in a row I'll write new lyrics or like a new chord progression. Like I when I woke up this morning, I just like heard something in my mind, and I just like really quick strummed it on my guitar, and I took a video of it so that I can like, you know, revisit it later. So that happens a lot.
Do you have like formal training, or did you ever take classes with instruments like guitar or piano?
No. Well, so I played violin in orchestra when I was younger for like 4 or 5 years. But I never took a guitar class. My dad teaches guitar, and he showed me a couple things. But I never really took a guitar class. And yeah, the only like class I took for an instrument was for orchestra. And when I was 16, I got into like a choir at my high school, and I stayed in it the rest of high school, like junior and senior year. And in college, I was doing a jazz choir, and yeah, I'm studying jazz in school. So I haven't really I haven't like paid someone to teach me singing yet. Like I've paid the school to like be in a choir, and then they've taught me stuff, but I haven't done that yet. I think it'd be really helpful, but at the same time, I feel like I don't need it because I'm really intuitive with just how I sing, and like I've learned enough from choir. But I think taking a guitar class would be good.
Yeah.
Probably be pretty good to do that.
Some solos.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at soloing.
You were mentioning that you use Logic when you're producing stuff. So do you produce all your music, or do you work with
I produce my music, and then I take it to my best friend Nick, who's like one of the greatest producers, and then he like co-produces it, and it makes it like a full song. It's pretty cool. I have like for most of my music, it starts with my Logic. But sometimes from time to time, I'll be featured on like a rapper's song or something. And so, yeah, I do work with producers sometimes, but most of the time, like it starts at my house, right here, and then it ends up in someone else's studio or maybe even another person's studio after that, and then it's released.
So are the songs like fully sketched out when you take it to Nick? Or?
Most of the time, it's fully finished, but there's a few songs where like he totally adds like a new part, especially in my album that I released in 2020. He added like a new part in one of the songs, and like he just adds his touch because like we're really similar musically minded. So yeah, but I actually I did make a song with Nick recently. His like music name is Piazzi. I recommend if you want to check it out. But what was I saying? I kind of lost track. Yeah, like he adds stuff to it sometimes.
Yeah,
but a lot of the time it's mapped out.
Is Nick in the Monarchs?
No, I used to be in a band with him, but no, he's not in the Monarchs. It's just me, Nico, and Alex. Nico plays drums, Alex plays bass.
When did that form, or what made you want to hit them up to translate your music to live?
It happened in 2019, and in 2018, actually, we were all hanging out one time, like after jamming, like at a party or something, and they're like, "Yo, if you ever need a live band," I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes!" They're like some of the most talented people I know, and so I was like, "Yeah." And then in 2019, I was releasing an EP in April that year. And like in January, I hit Nico up. I was like, "Hey, these are songs that I'm releasing, and I really want you to like be a part of the live set." And he's like, "Dope, like let's do it." He learned them, and then I hit up Alex, and they're actually in a separate band together, so like they already knew how to play together, and like adding me to the mix was like we're really intuitive all together on the three of us. But yeah, so yeah, it happened in April. In 2019, and like our first show was it was a St. Patrick's Day thing in late March 2019.
And are they involved in the production of the songs, or is it just you and Nick recording that stuff?
Most of the time it's just me, and then like I show them and we're like, yeah, let's do this live. But we have written songs together. We haven't put them out. We will someday. But yeah, like as of late, it's been like mostly just like, here's my song. It's produced already. Here's how it goes. Let's jam. Let's like see what happens live. And then we end up doing it live.
So are you guys, are you rehearsing for anything like in the future when things open up, or have you been in contact with each other?
Yeah, I was actually just with them the other night. We had our first rehearsal in a few months. Like since a few months ago, the other night, and I'm actually gonna throw like an outdoors show on April 20th. It's gonna be at a park in Fullerton, and I encourage you guys to come. I'll be posting about it and stuff. But it's gonna be a donation based show. Half the proceeds are gonna go to an environmental foundation. I haven't chosen one yet, and then half of it's gonna go to us for like future recordings and stuff. But yeah, so we're rehearsing for that, and it's actually going to be a more acoustic set. Alex is going to be playing his stand-up bass. I'm going to be playing acoustic guitar, and Nico's going to be like, he's going to have his brush sticks, so it's going to be like a little quieter version of everything. Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Are you thinking about the next record yet? Are you like, what stage of it are you in? Are you in pre-production, or have you recorded anything with Nick?
Yeah, actually, me and Piazzi are releasing a song on April 3rd, and it's something that literally happened in one night. Like I came over to hang out, and then we're like, let's just see, let's cook up something and it ended up like being a whole song by the end of the night, which was cool. I do have, I mean, I know I want to release an EP at some point this year. I'm not sure what the theme is going to be because I have like a lot of songs that are just like sitting there and not like they're literally just collecting dust, but they deserve to be heard. So like I need to get going on that. But like I'm always making new music, so it's like there's just like this big shelf, and I'm just like, which one do I want to like share?
So when you're making an album, is that usually how you curate it? Like you're picking from songs that you wrote and what sound good together, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm never like, oh, I'm gonna write like you know how like when someone's like signed to a label, they're like, you have to write a 12-song album. It has to be about breakups. Like, I'm never gonna do that to myself. I'm never gonna be like, you need to write a 10-song album. It needs to be done in 3 weeks, and you have to release it this. Like, I'm just like, oh, like I have 6 songs that are like kind of about this, and like 8 songs that are like kind of about that. I'm like, oh, those could probably be like full projects. But yeah, so yeah, I have like what I just said. There's like a few songs that are same general thing that could be an EP. There's a few other ones that could be another album.
Do you ever like add once you have like all these songs are about this specific thing or they're kind of about this thing? Do you ever listen back to it and like, oh, I should add a song here? It would make something more cohesive, or is it kind of just that's the next? You're already in the next phase.
Yes, that happened when I made It's All Love. Like, there was like this really old song that I only released on SoundCloud, and I was like, wait, this should be in this album. And so but the question was like new songs, right? Like, were you asking like once I have the list, like that I add a new song? Like write a new song and add it?
Add a new song, or like you're listening to all the songs that you've already made and like, oh, I want to change that a bit to work better with the album or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think that did happen with It's All Love. All of them, yeah. So I actually did have an original list, but it was like 17 songs, but I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to release that long of an album. Like, I'm not like super big yet, so I'd rather like wait to release a huge album till like I get more of a following. Also when there's not a pandemic going on. That'd probably be a good idea to wait. But yeah.
So we
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. This is one of our problems. Like with Zoom, it's like there's a latency, and just it's a mess sometimes.
Yeah.
But so I watched one of your interviews with Arts Television, and you're saying how you only have one pedal. What's the one pedal you have?
It's a little. I'm gonna get it right now. It's a little echo pedal. I got a new one though, so now I have 2 pedals, and I might make a little board or just not at all because I feel like I don't need a pedal board. I'm not like doing all this crazy stuff, but I have this echo one. It's called Anna Echo, and it has like it makes really cool sounds if I like screw with it. And then I just got this super chorus. I just wanted to have like more of a texture with my guitar with the chorus, like because when I like record stuff, we add effects to the guitar. It's not just like straight up natural. And so I wanted to be able to like kind of mimic the recordings a little better. So that's why I got that pedal. Also because it sounds cool. Because like vibes, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's vibes.
I find that like when you're making music, you're guided by vibes, because I know in the music, like you were saying that like the music like was about like releasing. You release a lot of feeling in your music, but it has a very positive feeling coming back. Like when I was listening, I was like going over albums again. And I was listening to your last album last night, and I felt like it had like a really good warm energy, even though some of the stuff kind of like the most always positive. It was still like it had like a warm like positive vibe. I don't know. That's what I got from it.
I'm glad you felt that. When like when I've written all those songs, none of them were like angry. Like they were all about relationships I've experienced. Like each and every one of them were about like a few different people. And I never was like writing them with like negative intent, you know, like I never had any animosity for any of the people I wrote about. Like I was just like I love you. Like I was literally just saying like I love you but in different ways. But yeah. So I think you were just hearing the positivity of like of literally how I feel for those people. Like I don't hate any of them, even though some of them hurt me really bad. I will never hate anyone, really. And so maybe you were feeling like that. I mean, the album is called "It's All Love."
Yeah,
And
I definitely, but just like it translates. Like the title is cohesive with each track, and there is like a sort of tranquil nature to the sort of stories you're telling in the songs.
So when you're,
well, I'm glad you felt the serenity.
when you're picking the songs out from like the list of songs that you have, and then you finally have them, the album track listing, when do you think about the name or the title of it?
I'm gonna say like a general thing because it really isn't a general thing, but I'll describe what happened with "It's All Love." So like with that album, it was supposed to be like 19 songs, and half of them were about love, half of them were literally just about like being a human and like living in this world, nothing to really do with love. And then I wrote the song "It's All Love" when I had that compilation of all the songs, and I was like, wow, this is like a really good like ending like to an album. Like this would be a really good like last song. And then I thought, the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't need to release a long ass album right now. Like, so I filtered out all those other songs, and then I was like, what is it gonna be? Like, what am I gonna name this album? And then I was like, well, like, there's been a lot of albums that I love that have like a track the same name as the album. So it's like, dude, "It's All Love" is a perfect name because like literally all of these songs are about love. And I love that saying because like like I've been in situations where like someone's like, "Oh, it's all love." Like when something bad happens, like when something negative happens, like in a situation, I've heard someone say like, "Oh, it's all love." Like, doesn't matter. It's okay.
It's like
Like
sarcastic.
I get it. Like it's all love. No, actually, no. Not, it's not to me. I don't think it's sarcastic. Like it can be, but like I don't vibe with you. Like I'm not saying this to you guys, but like you could say this to someone. Like I don't really feel like connected to you, and I don't really want to spend time with you. But it's all love. Like so that's kind of why I like that phrase. I'm not saying that to you guys. You just...
Well, we don't vibe with you either.
It's all love. It's all love.
Oh.
Yeah, basically. I'm blushing right now.
So your music definitely has like a really strong like neo soul feel to it, and even in like the on the Monarchs, like their description of the band on the Instagram is even like neo soul band. What got you into neo soul music? Like what artists or when were you into it? I know you said you listened to some jazz when you were younger and you were learning jazz stuff too. So
definitely, if I could name one band, it's Hiatus Coyote. Like right when I started writing music, I started really like getting into them. I don't know if you guys heard them, but they're like a really good neo soul. Yeah. Yeah. So that was like in 2016, I really started getting into them. And I never was like, oh, I want to make neo soul music. I was just like, dang, this stuff's good. And like, honestly, I would write music like that if I want, like, you know. So I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, so like, and people actually, the reason I started getting into them, I literally never heard of them until one time I was playing like covers at a coffee shop, and someone was like, "You really sound like Napalm from Hiatus Coyote." And I was like, "Oh, I don't really know who that is, but like, thank you." And then I checked it out. I was like, "Wow!" Like, I was like really, really like, "Dang!" Like you thought of her when you heard me. It's like, wow. And I just really got into them, and my music kind of reflected that. Like what you're talking about earlier. Like when you find new music, you're like, "Oh, that element's really cool of that song. Like I'm gonna like put that in my own music." So like that's kind of what happened there.
So we have a segment on the show. It's called "Song You Wish You Wrote." Well, wait, hang on. Let's cue the "Song You Wish You Wrote" music.
Song I wish I wrote. Oh my god, I'm literally looking through my Spotify. No, I shouldn't. I should just go off my memory. I should not do that. That's unnatural. Right? Okay.
It could be more than one.
Okay. Well, the first one that came to my mind was a song by Omar Apollo. It's called Amor Malo. I was like, wow, I wish I wrote that song. Another one. There's like an older song by this guy. Oh, it's by Leon Russell. He's like a folk singer from like the 70s or something. He has this song called Magic Mirror, and it's really good. It's literally about like everyone you meet being like a reflection of you. It's really cool. Now I'm gonna start looking through my Spotify. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's a few internet songs that I feel the internet, like I feel like there's a few songs by them that I definitely wish I wrote. It'd probably be Palace Curse or Girl with Kate Renata. Yeah. There's a few.
Nice.
Oh, honestly, like a lot of the songs I cover that are on my YouTube, those are all pretty much songs I wish I wrote. And then I write them like in my own way when I cover them. So
is there with being like inspired by the music, we talk about that a lot. Are there any like activities or hobbies you have that feel like that inspire your music as well?
Hiking. Like whenever I'm out in nature or camping, like just like when I'm not like connected to society or anything, like that's when I get really inspired. What else inspires me? I love to paint. I've done that a lot since high school. That inspires me to write more. Reading books, honestly. Like when I read a book, like I end up writing something that derives from like a thought process I started thinking in from that book.
So when you say like you're hiking and that inspires you, is that literally in the moment you're hiking and you're just coming up with lines or lyrics or like maybe like a sonic that you want to capture later, or how does that work?
Yes, lyrics always come to me when I'm out in nature. I've written like some of my best songs while I'm literally just like by myself, just walking through like a trail, and I'm just like thinking about like some situation in my life, or I'm literally thinking about nature and I write about it. Like, you know that quote, like nature is our greatest teacher? Like it really is. Like so many things in our lives, like even our anatomy, like reflect nature. And so I think that's like a really, really cool thing. And it's just like, it's no wonder that nature is our greatest teacher, because like you go out there and like you could walk out with answers to like a question you had, like even if it isn't about nature, like if it's about your life.
Is that a common theme with your songwriting? Is that the lines will come to you, or is it ever you go sit down and try to write a song and just kind of force it out, or?
Mm. Whenever I've tried to force songs down, it doesn't go well. It's always like I'm like doing some random shit, like I'm at work or like I'm driving and I'm like, ooh, like I say something to myself, or like literally I'm talking to myself and I say something. I'm like, dang, that's like a good lyric. So I type it in my phone and then I like revisit it later. And I always like writing down on paper my lyrics. Like, I don't know why, there's just something about that. Like, I mean, I've written good lyrics on my notepad on my phone, but like, it's really nice to like put it on paper when I'm actually trying to form the song and like make the structure, the stanzas, the verses, you know. So yeah, like it's always like one line that comes to me, and then then I sit down with it and then write more about it. And I guess it is kind of trying to force it out once it is there. Once the foundation's there, it's like, I guess I force it out.
Are you ever doing drafts of lyrics, or is it just like whatever I write right then, that's it?
Yes, I do drafts most of the time. Most of the time it's drafts, and then like I give it a few days or a week, and I come back and I'm like, oh, okay, so like this line could be a lot shorter. I don't have to really say that many words to be able to convey what I mean. Yeah, so drafting is definitely a huge part of like my lyricism, but there are a few songs out there that literally like I didn't revise at all.
So how long does it take for a full song to be done for you, like from the first line that inspires you to all the way to when it's done?
That's a question that's really subjective depending on the song, honestly. Like I've had a song that I write like at a time, and then 6 months later I'm like, oh wait, I'm gonna come back to it and it's like so much better now. There's songs that I've written within a day and it stays that way. There's songs that I've taken it like a week to like really, really like get solid. It really just depends. Like it really depends on like how I am creatively and like my schedule, you know, like if I have to go work a lot that week, you know, like just it depends.
No, I get that, but there's no like common theme that typically maybe it takes a week or two.
Yeah, on average I'd say like 1 or 2 days.
Oh wow,
that's what I would say if I had to think of an average.
Well, thank you for being on the Backyard Show, Indoor Edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, you can listen to Marcellina wherever you stream music. And if you haven't already, you can join our mailing list at www.thebackyardshowpodcast.com to be the first to know when new episodes are released. Thank you for listening. This has been The Backyard Show.